Kia ora and welcome to Tarmac. My name's Dave.
My name is Matthew, and today's a scorching hot day, but luckily we've got something pretty cool behind us. It's the Toyota CHR, which has now been given the GR treatment.
That's right. It's your family hybrid, but it's been given motorsport influence. So it's a GR CHR. Let's take a look at this. The CHR came into production around 2017, and it really came straight into that compact SUV sort of crossover market. This obviously, down to its size and everything, is very much more into the SUV or compact size. This one is the hybrid model, and essentially that's what Toyota do so well. And this model in its normal form is their best seller, and quite rightly so. It's great on fuel, and also just look at it. It's a good looker. Now Gazoo Racing, or GR Racing, has now got their hands on it and developed it into more of a performance-based vehicle, or sort of. Let's take a closer look and I'll tell you all about it. We won't go too much into the actual design of the car because we've done that in another video. So what we'll do is we'll pick on the highlights of what makes this GR so special. And first off, you can see straight up, look at this whole front. It very much replicates the GR Yaris. So there's much more of a sort of square, more I don't know, more muscular front to the front here. The lights are a bi-beam LED, so they're, you know, very bright and can see everywhere, which is pretty handy when you're driving at night, coincidentally. It's got this GR front bumper here, which is actually very shiny. Look at that, very nice. And a honeycomb grille. Again, a little bit different, a little bit of a break from the norm. Still got obviously your lovely Toyota front here, and also this whole front balance is sits a little bit lower, so a little bit more sporty, a little bit more GR. Let's take a look around the side. This one comes in a two-tone paint color with a nice, this kind of an oyster sort of sheen to it. It's very nice around here, and obviously the blackened out roof. Hybrid badge because it's a hybrid, and a GR badge because it's a GR. These two wouldn't normally go together in any shape or form, but they sort of do on this. The feet themselves, 19-inch. These are really shiny and just really nice look to them. Really impressed. And also they're shorn with 225 rubber, and actually it's very sticky, very good, very well, what you need when you're doing the handling, and that's where this comes in, and I will talk about that in a while. Also comes with GR white calipers, brake calipers on the front here. I think they're only 2-pot, but they're white to match the color, and also GR to match the brand. Pretty cool. Looking further down, these unusual door handles right up the top here. They're interesting. Anyway, round the rear. The rear itself has actually got a little bit more substance to it, which is quite surprising. It still comes with the roofline spoiler, but it now comes with this nice gloss spoiler that comes all the way across the side here and connects these rear LED clusters together. It's again pretty more substantial than it was before. I actually quite like it. It sort of borders the whole rear end, so it brings it all together. That's a good thing. It also comes with the GR badging and a little bit more of this sort of scratchy plastic trim down the bottom, but overall not bad. Under the bonnet lies a 1.8 litre petrol hybrid powertrain connected to an eCVT, which combined give you 90 kilowatts of power, 142 newton meters of torque, which is it's actually all right when putting it down to two wheels. The petrol efficiency is 4.3 litres per 100 kilometres, which is, again, pretty good. And what's more, 97 grams of CO2 emissions per kilometre. So it's pretty efficient, and also it's not bad for the environment. Speaking of things that are pretty efficient and not bad for the environment, Matthew's inside and he'll show you what's going on or what the changes are in there.
Well, I've got to say, I don't have a large carbon footprint really, and frankly neither does the interior of the CHR, because there's not much leather around here, but what they've done is get really creative with the way they've used the materials, and especially on this GR Sport Edition. Firstly, the big change in here is the seats. They've got the sort of Alcantara finishing, they've got this nice GR badge stitched into it, and overall they're really supportive on the sides, which is important when you're doing a bit of GR sport kind of cornering. Another big difference in here is the aluminium polished pedals, which are actually drilled holes in it, which look really cool and look really sporty. And in the same way, the start stop button also has a GR badge on it. Apart from that, nothing really has changed inside here, but that's not an issue because the CHR's cabin was actually really nice to begin with. It's got a really nice balance of soft materials over here as well, and a bit of hard stuff down the bottom. As you know, the design language in here is all to do with diamonds, so you got a lot of diamond insignia going on here on the roof as well, and in the door panels. So all those design elements are still there, and they still look good even after these years. So nothing really needed to be changed in here, and they haven't bothered because it's a nice place to be. At this point, I'd usually go into the touchscreen and the dashboard, but again, nothing much has changed there except for a few GR icons. So with that all done and dusted, let's go and drive this thing.
So I'm sure what you're wondering is what makes this a GR, because cosmetically it's, it's spiced up, but under the bonnet is the same. So you'd be hard pushed to not call this a GR line rather than anything else. But my friends, what they've done is they've upgraded the suspension. The steering's a lot better. The center brace is a lot. They've messed with the center brace. They've changed the shocks. They've changed the springs. So it's a lot more aggressive in the handling, and that's where the fun is. Really, that's where performance is all about.
And not to forget, upgrading the suspension and all that is well and good, but what they've done is fit wider, stickier tires, so the places that the car does make contact with the road, it makes really good contact. So gripping around these corners and stuff, it's amazing the way this car is just holding its own on the road and cornering flat for a small SUV.
Yeah, it is. There's not that much body roll when you're throwing it into corners, and you can actually throw it quite considerably into corners. It's quite enjoyable in that way. Sure, the eCVT is a bit soul destroying, but the power, it's 90 kilowatts. It's not huge. You've got plenty of time to think about where you're going, but it's just the corners. It's just the handling. It's so much fun in the corners. And for those that are tootling around town, fair enough, but get it out on the open and play with this car.
The CHR anyway was made by Toyota to be a funky, playful kind of car with a bit of character, something that you don't see much of these days. And what they've done with this GR sport package is just make it even more characterful, because as we've seen with the GR Yaris and the GR Supra, Gazoo Racing doesn't do anything half-heartedly, and you can certainly say the same with the CHR.
Yeah, I think you're completely correct there. I guess I was expecting a little bit more power, and I think maybe that would have been cool, but I'm foot flat to the floor, away you go around a corner that shouldn't be taken at 100 kilometers per hour. Really, it's fun.
And he's using all the power, by the way. I can see the meter go all the way to the end of the power section.
It's got it there, why not use it, right? And then it can sedately go into just your 5.3, well actually, I know it's saying 4.6 litres per 100 kilometres in fuel efficiency. I've got it down to about 5.3 in real terms. Admittedly, I have been not using the EV only badge or button and stuff like that, but it's I just like, bring me corners, bring me more of them.
It definitely would have been nice to have a little bit more power, but then cornering is fun too, no complaints there.
The seats are really comfortable. I think Matthew's got a problem with the headrest, it's quite firm, and I think it is, but then 90 kilowatts of power, you're not getting your head thrown back too much of a
See, this is why we're not Toyota engineers, because they've thought of that. They didn't give it extra power because the headrests are actually rock hard, so every time you smack your head back into it, you'd get a headache. But in this car, you don't do much of that, so it's alright.
And apparently, he's not going to do it right now, but Matthew likes the speed of the front windows opening. Little things, right? Little things, please, little minds. Oh, look, a corner. So there you have it, the GR CHR. I almost called it the GR Yaris because certainly the front wise looks the same. It's full of cosmetic changes that, well, certainly on the outside, that give it much more motorsport appeal. Engine's a little bit of a letdown if I'm honest, but then bring on those corners. The suspension's great, the steering feels really, really responsive. I really enjoy it.
I think the overall appeal of the CHR is its sort of funkiness and its quirkiness, and with this GR package, all they've done is just make it better at its own trade, and you know, who has a problem with that?
Who has a problem with that at all? Look, it's great fun to drive. Get out onto the open road. That's all I say. Get out and play. Speaking of play, looking forward to getting on the next one. Thanks for coming along. Really appreciate your company. See you next time.
Make sure you keep pushing play on our videos.
Cheers.